T-minus 48 hours until the Chiefs' postseason run gets underway, and we got a fun episode ahead. Kay Adams joins the show today to talk about all things Kansas City Chiefs. Plus, we continue to get good news on the injury front from head coach Andy Reid. Jump in. It is time to chat Chiefs Kingdom. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Thursday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. We got plenty in the show to get through, so no further introduction. Just give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and let's get this one rolling. Good news today, Chiefs Kingdom. Quarterback Jalen Watson is expected to return to the Chiefs' starting lineup against the Houston Texans on Saturday. This is per Nate Taylor with The Athletic. Now, this news we've been anticipating, really, since Watson's 21-day practice window was open at the beginning of the new year. The third-year defensive back has been a full participant at practice all week as he's been working to return from a fractured fibula. He suffered that in October's Week 7 win over the San Francisco 49ers. All right, everyone worked at practice today for the Chiefs, so now let's take a look at those game day designations as the team's health continues to trend up. Drop below in the comments your confidence level going into this divisional round on Saturday. All right, Casey, we got a fun interview to bring you today. We got Kay Adams from the Up and Adams Show joining us on Chiefs News Daily. We're talking Texans versus Chiefs and really all NFL playoff games going on. Let's jump right to it. Kay, appreciate you being on the show. As always, we're really big fans of you here in Kansas City and all that you do, so thanks for being with us today. We'll dive right into it, though. Kansas City.
Oh, Haley, no, we're not diving right into it. I love the content that you're putting out. When I'm scrolling on my feed, it sticks out. It's so concise. It is so clear. And I just love what you're doing. And I can't believe you're asking me any questions because I want you to know, and your audience and Tucker Franklin and everyone, and BJ, I literally get my little snippets of information of what exactly is going on from you, Haley. So congrats on all the success. You're awesome.
Oh, well, thank you. I will have to say, I'll give BJ and Tucker some applaud there too, because they do a lot. It's a little bit, right? They do a little to support me. You've been interviewing a lot of players during the year, also a lot of retired guys, a lot of guys who understand what happens and what it takes, to get back to a Super Bowl. So what is maybe the perspective from the people that you've interviewed, the players you've interviewed, the retired players of Kansas City? Like, what is this the same team they saw last year? For us, it's different, right? We see them every day. But what are other people saying about Kansas City?
I think it's a lot of what I would call heavy lifting. It is hard work to try to come up with topics as someone who covers the national media. It is a challenge. It is. I was just talking to somebody this morning about it. It's like all we can do is poke holes. And I think everybody in that locker room is just like, nice try. Good try. Because this team does feel like a juggernaut. Now, let's indict this team. What can you poke holes in? I'd love to know who left tackle is. I mean, I don't know what's going meeny, miny, mo. I don't know what they're doing there. When it comes to the talent that's different from maybe last year's team, there's this idea that they let teams hang around. They did that last year. Like, if we think that anything other than them showing up completely dialed in, healthy, ready to go, it's not going to happen. They're going to come and look like they did, and I don't know who's going to stop them. I don't know if the Texans secondary can get Patrick to turn over the ball. He's not turning over the ball. So I think the perception from players outside of this organization is, they're just the ones to take out. They're getting everybody's best Super Bowl punch week in, week out. I think it feels very much like it did last year. Like, this is the team. How are you going to take them out? I don't quite know. I can tell you, like, a storyline I'm really interested or excited about is DeAndre Hopkins. Comparing it to previous years. Quiet game the first time these two met each other. I was actually in Kansas City for that game. It's his old team. It's his first playoff game in 5 years. This is one of the better receivers of our generation. So I'm excited to see the chemistry further developed, and I'm excited to see a playoff DeAndre back on the field.
It's interesting to talk about him as being such a veteran player, all the accolades that he's been able to get, but yet does not have that Super Bowl ring. And this might be, that possibility to ride along with a team where you have guys like Patrick Mahomes, you got Andy Reid on your sideline, you got Travis Kelce, and then we don't even, hit on the other arsenal that they have, right, with Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco. The list goes on.
Like I said, it's heavy lifting here. It is heavy lifting. And with the coaching and the experience, and the momentum and the rest, what you tell there, it's hard work.
And it is interesting. I like the point that you said about like trying to almost just poke holes, because
Yeah.
what do you really grab at in this? Because there's always been a different storyline. It was Tyreek Hill left. They don't know how to do anything now that Tyreek's gone. The offense is up and down. No receivers can catch a ball last year. This year, it's kind of been a little more wishy-washy, where defense has been good, had some struggles here and there, but Patrick Mahomes, although doesn't have the stats that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and even Joe Burrow had this season, he still has found a way to get his team 15-2 by the end of the season, and now potentially making history as they go to three-peat. What does that say about, I mean, you've spoken to Patrick before, the mentality that it takes to do that year after year?
I think the insight I can give you from sitting down with Patrick ahead of Netflix Christmas, when he took on and pulverized and dominated the Steelers, I would say he's pretty dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
He's serious, and he is every year in every game and every important moment. But I do believe he is very aware of the history at hand. I think that three-peat crazily isn't being talked about enough on a national level, and it's this, maybe there's fatigue, but the history that makes, what that does for his legacy, I think I could tell just from being around him for a short time that's something that is heavy for him, that not in a bad way, in a great way, that's going to drive him. So I could say that what it says about the organization is that Veach and Andy and Spags and everybody top to bottom just consistently get it done. This team knows how to win. The doink is always going to go in on the goalpost. It's just something that's institutional with this team. I mean, if you're trying to poke holes, which is what everyone's trying to do, you could say just the offensive line, right? Which is a huge deal. We don't like seeing our face of the league, not even face of the league to the world. This is a global team now, this Chiefs team. This is a global superstar in Patrick Mahomes. Him getting hurt makes me uncomfortable. I don't like watching it, so I hope they can protect him, because I will tell you that pass rush, as we saw last week with this Texans squad, just Stingley, all those guys will do their thing in the secondary, but Danielle Hunter and Anderson are no joke.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tricky, and I think that they'll play, to that strong suit. And Kansas City figuring out that left tackle position is going to be one of those dicey things. It might be.
Is it, Hayley? You tell me. Don't make me scroll on Twitter to see your segment. Like what?
So here's the latest.
He is practicing, so they don't know what to do.
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit of gamesmanship, right? I think Andy Reid, he tells us today at the podium that he's still kind of working on the rotation of moving Joe Thuney out to left guard, having DJ Humphries kind of, trickle in, practice, and rotate. And I think it's just a little bit of how, they already know exactly what they're going to do. It's just, let's just let the Texans sweat it out until we get to game day. And then they'll show them, during warmups who's going to be going out there. But I think Coach Reid is going to stick with what worked to get them at this 15-2 record, to now have the 1 seed, to now be in a position to where they can go on to do what they won't mention, which is make this dynastic run and potentially three-peat. I say they go with Joe Thuney, keep him out on left tackle, have Mike Caliendo fill in for the guard, and just let it roll. It worked before. Why try something new now?
That's amazing. I mean, I know Tucker's listening. You're an amazing producer. You should use Hayley to help you with that Rutgers team that Hamilton's always telling me. You're trying to make it happen, make a thing. Hayley should call the shots.
Right. Just throw me on the sideline, coach. But I do want to ask you this: you have some ties to Kansas City. You've gotten to interview a lot of these guys as well. Maybe favorite interview that you? And I know it's hard to narrow it down. And it's also a cliche question. But what's been one of your favorite moments covering the Chiefs?
I think, any of the Super Bowls are amazing to cover. I like the friendships. Okay. I think those matter. I think when you look at the best teams in the league, you can look at your competition and Josh Allen, the kinship he has with his teammates. You can sort of viscerally feel it. On the best teams, it's not all business. And obviously there's Patrick and Travis, whenever they can play off each other. That's a real thing. I think, Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey have the same energy. Interviewing with them in front of the fountains at the draft in Kansas City was a beautiful moment. They finish each other's sentences. All of them do. I think, when you look at Justin Reed and they all feed off of each other. Justin Reed probably is my favorite interview because he's candid. I think that Spags lets him be himself. You can tell the media sort of lets him be himself, and that he uses that to fuel him. You don't want to, it's fun to watch when a team is successful, I've covered the Patriots when they won ring after ring after ring after ring after ring after ring, and you get less access to players. When you're at the top of the food chain, there's no reason to have PR. Why sit?
Right.
So Justin Reed sort of getting to still be himself, I think, is very cool, and I think he affects the team. His skill set for sure, but something about his energy and his talking his talk to even to teammates really gets everybody going.
I can agree with you on that one. I remember when the first year after he came here from the Texans, during the Super Bowl parade, again, this is his first year with the team, I remember he grabbed my microphone while we were in the middle of the parade and starts going into the saga being like, Kansas City, we're here for you, and this is your team. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. Also, he's so smart. Like, smarter than most people I know.
He'll play, and that matchup will play into this, I think, for him and DeAndre, especially with it being high stakes and playoff. But I don't know, it's one of those things where, like, I just don't. Is this a game where the Chiefs are going to let them hang around?
I don't know. Are they going to play with their food, or are they going to finish it? That's one of those things. And go one of three ways. I say they either make this a close game like they always do, or the Texans could potentially make it a close game as well. Or this is the game that we see Kansas City finally pull the victory of margin out, and they beat them by 2 scores. So
the more interesting thing is Patrick watching on his phone or wherever, on his T-Mobile phone. Will he see what when he's watching that Ravens-Bills game?
Yeah.
Like, who does he want? I'm just trying to, if you get in his head.
I don't think
who does he want?
Head. It's just the kid can handle anything. I say he's a kid. He's much younger than I am, but he's built different. That's what Coach Reed always says, and he is. He's just built different. I think whoever he takes on, he's going to find a way to not let anything get in his way, even a bum ankle. So we will have to see what happens. Final thoughts from Kay Adams. Anything you got for me?
Oh my gosh, I'm just really watching the rest of the slate. I mean, I do think, the Texans, an inconsistent offense, they can run the ball with Mixon. Yep. We'll see how much, they did that last week. I think that's such a fun theme for this playoff journey. We talk all about these wide receivers. Like, wide receivers, you mentioned it with DeAndre Hopkins, like the best ones don't win Super Bowls often. No. Tyreek did. When you look at the best in the game, the Justin Jeffersons, Chase, you look at Devontae Adams, like they don't have rings, these wide receivers. So how fun would it be, obviously, to get DeAndre? And a theme of the weekend last weekend was just running backs. Like, we say not to pay these guys. We say they're 28, they're 29, don't pay them. It's Derrick Henry, it's Saquon Barkley, it's Joe Mixon, it's the longer in the tooth OG running backs who are running all over and getting their teams past other teams in the playoff landscape. It's really, I like seeing that old school vibe happen.
Yeah, I love it too. Also, the theme going into the season was the fact that the running back is going out. This is no longer the thing, and it's been consistent this season.
How long have we been talking about Kareem? And then it's him. Like, he might be the one that has the big play, and I wouldn't put it past him. He's done it over and over, and it's just like there's some sort of revitalization of the position, and I'm curious more because I look at things from a bigger perspective, and I wonder if this starts to change the tide in the direction of how GMs teams are valuing the running back position, because it should be looked at.
Yeah, it could be. Well, definitely something to think about as we get ready for an off season that I know will be very busy for a lot of GMs as a new
short for you as usual.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very, very short, as we will be at the Combine so quickly after the Super Bowl run. So, Kay, again, thank you so much for taking the time, and maybe we'll be talking later on as the Chiefs keep.
Yes, and I'll try to remember how you look through the confetti covering your face in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Hayley.
All right, folks, if you don't have plans for game day, make sure you come up and join us at Holladay Distillery in Weston for a divisional watch party. That is right. The Kansas City Sports Network is hosting an exclusive watch party at Holladay Distillery for the Chiefs divisional round playoff game on Saturday, January 18th. Now, the party will begin at 2:30, kickoff set for 3:30. If you are interested in attending, please follow the link below in this video to reserve your spot. We are limited to a certain number of people, so please RSVP if you are interested. Food and drink are going to be available. I'll be there. Hope to see you guys there as well. All right, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily. We will be back again tomorrow. So in the meantime, like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you back here on Friday.